You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6.
Take a picture.
Oh my God.
Look at that. A fast-moving wildfire explodes in California, forcing hundreds of people to leave their homes.
Plus a push for change by the husband of a murder victim in Northport, why he keeps working to make our 911 system even better.
And sand sculptors from around the world come to Siesta Key to show off their techniques. We'll have a live preview of this weekend's big event. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. Have you gone to previous sand sculpture events?
I have not. Last year was my first year living here.
That's
I did
true.
not go then, so this is my second chance, and I'm hoping to go later this afternoon.
Yeah, very good. I know John Scalzi enjoys the sand sculptures out there, right, my friend?
It is crazy amazing. Crazy amazing. The beautiful, beautiful, huge sculptures that they create. Just outstanding. And the weather should cooperate nicely. We're looking at Titan radar, not showing a drop of rain around, and I think that'll probably be the case all day today, except for inland areas where you may see an isolated shower or two. Temperatures are nice as well, 74, 73 degrees most everywhere, a little bit cooler to the north of us, and we're looking at 72s in Bradenton. I don't think we'll see much in the way of inclement weather through the afternoon. Everything looks pretty good up to about 3 p.m. when we'll hit 84 degrees. It will be warm and muggy, but changes are coming over the weekend. We'll talk about that in a second. Back to you.
Thank you, John. First alert traffic, first off in Manatee County. You still have a stubborn accident up there in Allenton, I-75 southbound. If you're coming from northern Manatee County, be aware of that. Not showing any backups there yet, not enough traffic to cause that, but that's the scene there. Farther south, look at University Parkway, a lot of congestion there from, say, Honore all the way west toward Lockwood Ridge, almost to Tuttle, and farther south. No delays right now at 6:01 on your Friday morning.
Right now, thousands of firefighters are battling flames in California.
A massive blaze has forced tens of thousands of evacuations in Butte County in Northern California. Dubbed the Camp Fire, the blaze is growing now at a rate of 80 football fields per minute as of yesterday afternoon, injuring residents and firefighters. The Camp Fire is just one of several blazes raging right now in the state. In Southern California, two other fires charred parts of Ventura County, including one called the Woolsey Fire. Another, dubbed the Hill Fire, spread quickly, forcing mandatory evacuations. Now, the quick spread is being driven by low humidity and high winds, combustible conditions that led to a fire-nado whipping along a burning stretch of highway. The state's governor is now asking the federal government for help. Those fires in California are not far from where the mass shooting took place in Thousand Oaks yesterday. In fact, a nearby hospital where some of those victims were being treated is now being evacuated. Several people were injured and 12 were killed yesterday morning when a man opened fire inside a popular bar. ABC's Stephanie Ramos tells us what investigators know so far about the shooter.
A community shattered. Hundreds coming together to remember the 12 people killed late Wednesday when a gunman opened fire inside a packed Southern California bar during college night.
It's a horrific scene in there. There is blood everywhere.
We're now getting a look inside as the rampage unfolds. Watch as the camera shakes, but you can hear that distinct sound. Gunshots and then chaos.
Guys, run! Go! He's coming out this door!
Authorities say 28-year-old Ian David Long, a former Marine, walked into the bar with a legally purchased .45 caliber Glock handgun and opened fire.
The subject was at the front shooting at everybody. He's still inside the bar.
Witnesses say the bar quickly filled with smoke.
The gunman was throwing smoke grenades.
Dylan Short detailing the horrific moments.
Personally, got grazed, and that was after I'd watched him shoot the 3 people in the front who were all my friends.
One of his friends survived the Las Vegas massacre last year, and so did this woman's son.
My son was in Las Vegas with a lot of his friends, and he came home. He didn't come home last night, and I don't want prayers. I don't want thoughts. I want gun control, and I hope to God nobody else sends me any more prayers.
The suspect was found dead inside the bar. Police believe he shot himself. Authorities say he used an extended magazine, which is illegal in California, but that allowed him to fire more than 10 bullets at a time. In Washington, Stephanie Ramos, ABC News.
An all too familiar scene, American flags once again flying at half-staff in honor of the victims of that shooting in Thousand Oaks. Government buildings here in the Suncoast lowered the flags. The city of Sarasota tweeted this photo of the federal building. The flags will remain at half-staff until sunset on Sunday. In Washington, newly elected House Democrats are promising congressional action on gun control. Measures include expanding background checks and a ban on assault-style weapons that could reach the House floor. But beyond that, it won't be easy. Though Democrats now have a majority in the House after 8 years, the Senate is still mostly Republicans.
Nearly 11 years since a Northport woman was kidnapped, raped, and brutally murdered, her story continues to save lives. Nathan Lee, the husband of Denise Amber Lee, keeps her memory alive and has been a major reason why the 911 system has come a long way. Denise was kidnapped from her home, shot and killed, and her body was found in the woods 2 days later. When she was kidnapped, at least one 911 call was mishandled in Charlotte County. Some believe that may have cost her her life. Following the 21-year-old's death, her husband started the Denise Amber Lee Foundation to better train 911 operators across the country.
It's been a journey, but, you know, I guess our family really decided early on that we were going to do what we had to do to honor Denise and make sure her death wasn't in vain.
I don't know that we'll ever be able to tell how many lives may have already been saved because of that and how many will be saved moving forward.
Denise's killer, Michael King, was sentenced to death and is waiting execution.
Awful story. The sheriff's deputies involved in a fatal shooting earlier this week in Charlotte County could be back to work today. Early Monday morning, deputies were called to a McDonald's on Tamiami Trail in Port Charlotte, where this man, 72-year-old George Smith Barcadia, was armed with a rifle. After arriving on the scene, the sheriff's office says Smith raised his rifle at the officers, causing them to open fire. The sheriff says Smith's family admitted he was depressed and had talked about suicide. 4 people in Northport are now facing charges after they were busted in a drug operation called Spice Baby. Police say they found 54 bags of spice at a home on Kenwood Drive. They also found 2 guns and a large amount of cash. Police say 2 men and 2 women face a wide range of charges, including possession with intent to sell and selling within 1,000 feet of a place of worship.
Happening today, a Northport Park will be shut down for a few days. The Garden of the 5 Senses Park on Pan American Boulevard will close at 3 o'clock this afternoon. It will reopen on Saturday, November 16th. Crews need to resurface the new Boundless Adventures playground. The park is being designed for all children, including those that have physical, developmental, cognitive, or sensory challenges.
Time Magazine's former Clown of the Year, who also lives in Sarasota County, is taking his act and his hair to Tampa. Bello Knock, here he comes, will be performing in the Super American Circus at the Tampa Fairgrounds on November 18th and 19th. Bello will be joined by other amazing acts such as motorcycle daredevils and gravity-defying trapeze artists. Proceeds from the shows will go to benefit Flight to the North Pole, which helps terminally ill children and their families in their time of need. One of the most talented and nicest guys. He lives right here in Sarasota County.
And what a great cause for those proceeds to go to.
Yeah, none better. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast. Pipes and equipment have arrived on Lido Key. So when will crews start pumping sand on the popular beach to improve that shoreline there?
But first, we're taking the time to say thanks to working hard educators on the Suncoast, how one teacher in Northport is making a difference.
Let's take a live look now at the sand castle, the Siesta Key Crystal Classic. You got me calling it a sand castle now.
Sorry, sand sculpture.
Yes, it's much more than just a castle. They might have actual castles out there made of sand. Just beautiful. We'll talk to one of the organizers coming up, but first let's talk to John Scalzi.
Amazing stuff. Yeah, if you're headed to the beach today, I think you'll notice a west wind developing during the afternoon, which could aggravate red tide just a little bit. But the good news is on Saturday and Sunday, I think once a front comes through, our winds are going to shift east and stay there right straight through the remainder of the next several days. So marine spotters have indicated that there are a couple of beaches, Coquina and Lido, both having moderate amounts of red tide irritant in the air. Other beaches showing low amounts of irritant. Our winds shifting from the southeast to the west this afternoon. Complete forecast in a minute.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard serve to give back to their country and communities. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for an array of benefits, such as affordable health and life insurance benefits, education benefits, including tuition assistance, student loan repayment, and GI Bill programs, a retirement plan based on part-time service, and VA home mortgages. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about all the benefits available in the Army National Guard.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to CaliforniaClosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.
My grandpa was always telling me about it.
But the civil rights thing happened like a million years ago.
Still, he thought it was important that I know what it was like.
So we followed the civil rights trail to Alabama. We saw Dr. King's church,
the bridge in Selma, the church in Birmingham, and I finally knew what he was talking about.
Some things you just have to experience for yourself.
Start your civil rights journey at alabama.travel.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Meet Blue. Blue's not feeling well. The prescription? Generic medication. Blue wonders, do they really work as well as name brands? Yes, generics and name brand medications do work the same. Even though they may look different, generics have the same key ingredients. FDA approval is equally rigorous for generics to make sure they're as safe and effective as name brands. And Blue even saves him green, making him a little less, well, blue. Talk to your doctor about generics and visit fda.gov/generic drugs.
Cancer doesn't run in my family. That really was the farthest thing from my mind. I've been an athlete my whole life and I work in sports, so my mindset was just, let's fight. So our stories are all unique, so whatever you're going through, ask questions, get information and be involved. Don't ignore the signs, join the fight. I'm Tony Beasley and I'm a stage 2 colorectal cancer survivor.
Come into a California Closet showroom to experience our quality materials and construction and collaborate with our designers to create the perfect custom solution for any room. Go to CaliforniaClosets.com to request a free design consultation and locate the showroom nearest to you.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Temperature right now coming in at a 73-degree value with a dew point value of 72. So temperature and dew point pretty close together, meaning high relative humidity. That's been the case for the last 5 days, and that's going to change starting tomorrow. Tomorrow you're going to notice that dew point value is sinking down into the 60s. So it's going to feel pretty nice for about 24 hours before the humidity comes back. So we'll watch the temperatures continue to climb throughout the morning into about 84 degrees by 3 p.m. and pretty much rain-free the most of the day. In fact, if you live along the coastline, it's going to be rain-free the entire time, I suspect. As we head into the later part of the afternoon, there is about a 10% chance of a shower that'll be mostly inland east of the interstate. Right now, everything quiet on radar. Most everywhere you look, don't see anything that suggests any kind of weather for your morning commute. In fact, even the trip home. I think most of you along the coastline and the more densely populated areas will probably enjoy rain-free conditions. Maybe down to the south in the same places that saw it yesterday, you might get showers, but they'll probably be fewer in number than they were, and we'll explain why. A couple of showers to the north of us, also some showers over on the other coast thanks to that easterly wind flow that we've had, and a whole lot more rainfall stretching from the Ohio Valley back down toward Brownsville, Texas, and also out toward areas of the Delmarva. The reason for that is a low pressure area that's going to impact our weather over the weekend. So right now, we're looking at these tan colorizations on our water vapor imagery, a satellite snapshot from space showing where the moisture is, where it is not, the dry air indicated by the tan, and it is moving into our area so that when this frontal boundary finally approaches us tomorrow, actually moving into the state tonight, but tomorrow really making its advance through our area, we'll probably not see much in the way of rainfall because the air will be too dry to support that. One little cold front sinks southward. Another one back behind it starts its march toward us, arriving next week. So we'll have two kind of little shots of cooler, drier air. The first one coming through tomorrow is going to be a minor front. It'll lower our temperatures, yes, a few degrees, and it will certainly lower our dew point values a few degrees. But some of you will have to be attentive weather watchers to notice it. Next week, when that secondary front moves through, everybody will notice it because it will be a significant change in our weather. For today, sun cloud mix, still warm. Then tomorrow, the cooler air arrives, lowering our temperatures about 5 degrees. You know, that's okay. And then as we head into the afternoon, some drier air will move in. Watch out tomorrow. It could be a little bit breezy because of those winds. The nice thing is it'll shift our winds around to the east and they'll stay there. That'll help the red tide situation, I think, over the weekend and into the beginning of next week. Thunderstorm chances are here in the deep south, of course, with that line of showers moving south. But as the dry air filters in Saturday, that front moves through here dry. In fact, most of the country is dry. Sunday, we got a few scattered showers back to the west, but all in all, we'll look for a pretty quiet weather picture, I think, this weekend across the country if you're traveling. East wind turning west this afternoon at about 5 to 10 knots, becoming more westerly this evening at about 5 knots. And the forecast calls for today, warm, tomorrow, a little cooler, and then Sunday, cooler still, but becoming a little bit more muggy. And then Monday and Tuesday, we increase the rain chance Tuesday with that next front coming through, and that one really lowers our temperatures. It'll be beautiful Wednesday, Thursday, and beyond that, Friday, Saturday, also look to be just lovely. Back to you.
All right, thank you, John. Taking a look now at First Alert traffic. We begin in Manatee County. We're still tracking that accident on I-75 southbound at the US 301 interchange there. Still does not appear to be causing any delays. That's been there for about an hour so far this morning. Beware of that if you're traveling southbound on I-75. And as we head into Sarasota County, there's nothing to report. Some slight usual delays on Fruitville Road and Clark Road as well, but nothing major to report. And in southern Sarasota County, it's all clear at 6:16 on your Friday morning. ABC 7 is teaming up with Gettle Automotive to celebrate teachers in our community. We're calling them Chalkboard Champions.
We're asking you to help nominate teachers every month, and our first one comes from Northport. Our Jacqueline Matter introduces us to first grade teacher Kayla Conley.
Good afternoon. Are you Miss Conley?
I am Mrs. Conley.
I am Jacqueline Matter, and with ABC 7 and Gettle Automotive, we wanted to award you with our Chalkboard Champion of the Month for everything you do for our students here in Sarasota County.
I don't know what to say.
For many teachers, including Kayla Conley, spending much of their own money for classroom and student needs is unavoidable.
It is very hard to be able to give these guys the best that I can with the little bit of money that I have extra left over between my family and everything. So anything I do have extra, I give back to them.
Conley's fellow teacher says it's her love of teaching and commitment to her students that makes her stand out.
She is somebody that the other teachers can really go to when they need help.
A skill Conley has mastered as she's found creative and inventive ways to teach her students.
She's incredibly thrifty. She makes the most of the resources that she has. So this is awesome that she got this prize money because she's going to be able to do a lot with it.
I reached out to some of my friends and they have sponsored a child in my class to help them get books every single month.
Conley says the money she has won will go right back to her students.
Going to be going towards reading and math, probably some STEM things for my kids.
Because for Conley, teaching her first grade students to read is what matters most.
I struggled as a reader when I was a kid, and I had an amazing set of teachers that helped me learn to read. And that's part of the reason I became a teacher, is I had amazing teachers, and I want these guys to get the best that they can.
In Northport, Jacqueline Matter, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
If you're interested in nominating a teacher from Sarasota or Manatee County, head over to our website, mysuncoast.com/chalkboardchampions.
Unsung heroes.
Yeah. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, the FBI asks for your help. Investigators release new surveillance video in hopes that it'll crack a kidnapping case out of North Carolina.
And no time to stop and think. Two troopers worked together to save a man from a burning car. Those stories and much more straight ahead on Good Morning Suncoast.
Taking a live look outside over the city of Sarasota, the sun's starting to rise at 6:19 this morning. We'll be right back with your headlines.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY. Kettle's got it. Kettle's got it.
It's year-end clearance time at every Gettle location. Over 3,000 new vehicles, over 1,000 used vehicles on clearance right now at Gettle.com. And Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Get credit help, fast cash for your car, and year-end clearance prices right now at a Gettle dealership near you.
Kettle's got it.
At Gettle.com.
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
The ABC7 First Alert weather app just got even better. It's easy to use once you download it. First, tell the app to follow you, so you get alerts pinpointed to exactly where you are. Then customize your settings with all the places you go, from the beach to grandmother's house. Get accurate alerts for everyone you care about. You can even pick which weather alerts and categories you want and what they sound like. More ways to customize and more ways to keep your family safe. Download the ABC7 First Alert weather app today.
Find out first at 4 with ABC7 News at 4. Weekdays on ABC7.
Professional sand sculptors from across the world are hitting the beach on the Suncoast today for the 2018 Siesta Key Crystal Classic.
It is again that time of year. Bob Parkinson joins us now. He's live out there. Bob, you're out there again, my friend. We talked to your wife last hour. I'll ask you the same question. Why are you involved in this? What does this thing mean to you personally?
This was a great community event, and when we were first contacted to be part of it, we thought, here's a great chance to do something for the community. And it has continued to be such a wonderful event, bringing the people together, not only the people from around the world, the artists who are here, but the people in the community, and many of the organizations, and many of the sponsors. And without that kind of community support and involvement, this would never have happened. But since it did happen, it is incredible. And as they say, each year gets bigger and better, and this is certainly the case right now. We have 24 artists coming, which is the largest group that we've had before. We have some of the artists working in pairs, and we have some singles this year for the first time. But whether it's singles or pairs makes no difference. It is just outstanding. So people should come out and see it. And it's going to be running today. It opens up at 10 o'clock this morning. It runs from 10 until 5 o'clock this evening. And then tomorrow and Sunday, it opens at 10, but it runs until 9 o'clock. And we added last year a new event, which we're going to continue tomorrow and Sunday. The lights are turned on. And rather than just the bright sunlight illuminating the sculptures, it's reds and blues and greens and yellows, and it brings out some of the detail in the artist's work that is impossible to bring out when it's just the bright sunlight here, because the bright sunlight it's startling, but it sort of blends things together where the colors make it sparkle, make it jump out. So come in, and we had a funny comment made by somebody last year who was walking around looking at the darkened events. He said, "I can't see anything here. How come you don't have any lights on?" I think this poor guy missed the whole point to what we were trying to do.
Thank you so
he
much,
left,
Bob.
but we stayed, and
Well, this has been
I'm
the
sorry.
easiest interview ever, Bob. You just wind him up and he goes.
Yeah, you gave us all the information before we even had to ask for it.
Excellent. We got the event starts today and it goes right to Monday at $10 to get in for adults, $5 for kids, and a great event out there. There's the full screen information right there for you as well.
Right. Police in North Carolina have released video of a person they want to talk to in connection with the disappearance of a 13-year-old.
ABC's Lindsay Davis has the story.
In this morning's GMA First Look, police are trying to identify the man seen in this surveillance video as they investigate the case of missing 13-year-old Hanya Aguilar.
This individual may have information because, as far as we can tell, he's the only person who's on foot at that time of day, that time of the morning in the area.
The man was seen walking toward the mobile home park about an hour before Aguilar's disappearance from the front yard of her home. Police have already received a helpful tip that led to the stolen SUV they believe was used in her kidnapping. A call into 911 about a vehicle backed into the woods. Investigators and K-9 units now searching the SUV for clues and possible forensic information.
This is one piece. It was going to lead us to, hopefully, the rest of the puzzle.
And we'll have the latest on the investigation coming up at 7 a.m. With your GMA First Look, I'm Lindsay Davis, ABC News, New York.
The day after chemo shouldn't mean going back to the doctor, just for a shot. With Neulasta Onpro, patients get their day back. To be with family? Or just to sleep in. Strong chemo can put you at risk of serious infection. In a key study, Neulasta reduced the risk of infection from 17% to 1%, a 94% decrease. Neulasta Onpro is designed to deliver Neulasta the day after chemo and is used by most patients today.
Neulasta is for certain cancer patients receiving strong chemotherapy. Do not take Neulasta if you're allergic to it, or Neupogen, filgrastim. An incomplete dose could increase infection risk. Ruptured spleen, sometimes fatal, as well as serious lung problems, allergic reactions, kidney injuries, and capillary leak syndrome have occurred. Report abdominal or shoulder tip pain, trouble breathing, or allergic reactions to your doctor right away. In patients with sickle cell disorders, serious, sometimes fatal crises can occur. The most common side effect is bone and muscle ache.
Ask your doctor about Neulasta Onpro. Pay no more than $5 per dose with copay card.
Where to go and what to do in Birmingham, Alabama. Personalized just for you. Find your sweet spots at alabama.travel/sweetspot.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
You are the best protection she has. Buddy up. I'm Jill Harrington. Please visit helpsavethenextgirl.com and get involved.
Everything all right? Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery?
Sure.
We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Performing on stage takes mental and physical preparation. But one thing I never thought to prepare for was cervical cancer. 91% of cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV. The good news is there are vaccines that can protect you or your children from cancer. I survived my cancer, but you can stop cancer before it starts. Talk to your doctor and go to thinkaboutthelink.org to learn more.
Find out first at 4 with ABC 7 News at 4. Weekdays on ABC 7. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6:30.
No ragtag group of liberal activists or lawyers from D.C. will be allowed to steal this election from the voters in this great state.
Rick Scott now suing over ballots who he claims broke the law on election night.
Explosive wildfires rage across California. The dangers firefighters are facing this morning.
And with red tide still lingering on the Suncoast, Sarasota County offers a change for you to get answers. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Jess Dowdrick.
I'm Ray Collins. Hopefully red tide won't be an issue this weekend on Siesta Key. Here's a live shot now of the Sand Classic. There's Bob Harrigan's image etched into the side of one of the sand sculptures already out there. Should be a great weekend out there weather-wise. Let's get details of the weekend forecast now as we start to show more of that particular one from John Scalzi.
That's pretty funny. So we're looking at probably an offshore wind flow right straight through the weekend, which will certainly aid in the red tide situation. Today, maybe a little bit of a sea breeze in the afternoon might aggravate it a bit, so kind of a mixed bag. We're looking at quiet conditions on radar right now here locally, but check it out across parts of the nation. We've got snow in progress all the way from coastal New York, all the way back toward Chicago, down toward Bloomington. That's colder air, and it's part of a cold front that'll change our weekend weather. We'll talk about that in a second.
All right, thank you, John. Checking first alert traffic, though. Here's the scene in Manatee County. Some delays you'll see on 301, mostly northbound in and around downtown Bradenton. Also a southbound accident still at the Ellenton exit. Be aware of that at 224. Not seeing any residual delays. Also, there is some slowdown there as you head out 301 in the northbound lane. Farther south, here's the scene in northern Sarasota County, University Parkway in the eastbound lane, right by the mall there. Also Fruitville Road, westbound, way out in eastern Sarasota County. And then our final map of the south, there is an icon there in Charlotte County. We could probably click on that and find out more. It's, El Jobin Road, roadblock from Biscayne Drive to 776. Be aware of that as you head out the door this morning. Our top story is the razor-thin margins in two of the most closely watched races of the nation's midterm elections.
It's looking more and more likely that both of Florida's races for the U.S. Senate and governor are heading for recounts. In the governor's race, Democrat Andrew Gillum's campaign says it's readying for a possible recount. He conceded to Republican Ron DeSantis Tuesday night, but since then the race has tightened. As of yesterday, DeSantis is leading Gillum by just 0.47%. As for the race for U.S. Senate, that's a whole other ordeal. Ray?
Yes, it is. Governor Scott calling for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement to investigate what he's calling voter fraud. The governor called a late-night press conference where he announced he has filed a lawsuit against Broward and Palm Beach counties. Scott says the supervisor of elections in those two counties did not meet the state deadline of 7:30 p.m. on election night to report early and mail ballot totals. Scott says he and Bill Nelson are separated now by 15,000 votes, down from 39 for the U.S. Senate seat in Florida.
No ragtag group of liberal activists or lawyers from D.C. will be allowed to steal this election from the voters in this great state. I am proud to be the next senator from the great state of Florida and look forward to going up there and making Washington work for all Americans. Thank you.
Nelson responded to Scott's lawsuit by saying, quote, "The goal here is to see that all the votes in Florida are counted and counted accurately. Rick Scott's action," he said, "appears to be politically motivated and born out of desperation."
Outrage across the country. Protesters gathered in cities across the U.S. for a Nobody is Above the Law rally yesterday. The protests come the day after President Donald Trump fired Attorney General Jeff Sessions and appointed Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker to the post. Protesters are calling for Whitaker to recuse himself from overseeing the Russia investigation, which is looking into potential coordination between Russian and the U.S. president's campaign. But multiple sources tell ABC News that Whitaker will not recuse himself. Last night's House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi criticized the appointment, saying Whitaker should not be overseeing the investigation because he has not been confirmed by the Senate.
An update now on U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She was admitted to George Washington Hospital yesterday and remains there this morning. 3 broken ribs after she fell down in the office yesterday. At 85 years old, she is the court's oldest member. 6:35 right now. Right now, wildfires are once again raging through parts of California. Thousands of firefighters are trying to get the fast-moving flames under control while residents leave their homes. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez shows us what the fires have already destroyed so far.
Overnight, a fast-moving wildfire in Northern California exploding in size. Driven by winds in excess of 50 miles per hour, the so-called Camp Fire is burning the equivalent of 80 football fields per minute, forcing the evacuation of entire towns. Reports of residents rescued from their homes and people abandoning their cars on clogged roads. Dozens evacuated from this hospital where at least one building was consumed by flames after reports that some people were trapped in the hospital's basement.
We've got 4 people trapped in the basement. Sounds like it's surrounded by fire. They're safe underneath, but they can't get out.
New video this morning showing the out-of-control inferno burning home after home.
We lost everything, trailers, all our belongings. Now we're on grinding rock just trying to save everybody else's stuff.
This fire-nado swirling amid a scorched part of Butte County. The fire chief there telling the Associated Press near 1,000 buildings could be damaged or destroyed in the town of Paradise alone. Our Will Carr is there.
Fire crews have been doing everything they can, but they ran into red flag warning conditions throughout the day. That means that these winds were incredibly high. There was low humidity and there are bone dry conditions out here. This is pretty much a perfect combination for these fire conditions, and this is what you see. This community has burned to the ground. Pretty much everything is gone.
This picture showing a McDonald's before the fire and after. Nothing left but the sign. These horses set free, but left behind to find their own way out. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, New York.
Take a look at this other massive fire. The man in this burning car owes 2 troopers a huge thank you. A few days ago, 2 troopers in New Jersey pulled up to a scene. They found the driver of the Ford unconscious and his foot was pressed on the gas pedal. The troopers worked relentlessly to get him out of that car while the fire began to spread to the passenger seat and the passenger side of the car. Eventually, they were able to drag him to safety. Once he was out, the driver was able to regain consciousness and was not hurt.
New this morning, more trouble for Sears and Kmart. Sears Holdings announced that 11 more Kmarts and 29 Sears locations will shut their doors in February. 2 are in Florida, one in Boynton Beach, one in Jensen Beach. That's in addition to the nearly 200 locations the company plans to shut down over the next couple of months. A Suncoast Sears store is on that closing list, the one in the DeSoto Square Mall in Bradenton. When all is said and done, fewer than 500 Sears and Kmart stores will remain open. Halloween is over and the holidays, just like that, are upon us.
And Christmas and holiday decorations are going up, and it seems the retail holiday season started a bit early. I disagree. I think it's the perfect time to start celebrating the holidays.
Christmas Eve is better.
Our Marla Spence joins us live in the newsroom with a look at whether this is expected to boost sales or draw shoppers out early. Marla.
Hey, Jess and Ray, you know, it's never too early to start celebrating, but the big question, though, is whether it's too early to put out holiday decorations or even purchase holiday gifts. Now, today, UTC Mall expects to turn on its holiday lights and host a list of events to kick off the holiday season. Although it seems retail stores may be jumping the gun when it comes to preparing for the holidays, the mall's marketing director and general manager tells us each year around this time, they put their decorations up, so this isn't anything new for them this year around. We actually start in the middle of August putting the lights up. It takes significant amount of time and effort to really get all the holiday lights up throughout the entire UTC districts. It's over 1.5 million lights, 70,000 light strands. So as you can imagine, it's a lot of time and effort that goes into it.
It's really to give back to the community, but part of it is to enhance the holiday experience. And that's one of the reasons why we go to all this effort. We put all this time and money into really giving this gift back to the community. But yeah, it does drive traffic to the center, and we all know that more traffic to the center means more business.
And UTC plans to kick off the holiday season tonight with a list of events from the lights to being turned on to ice skating, snow tubing, and even an appearance by Santa, followed by fireworks. Now, we want to know your thoughts on if decorating now is too early. You can join the conversation on our Facebook page, ABC7 Sarasota WWSB. Jess and Ray.
All right, thank you, Marlon. Update now on when emergency renourishment plans will begin on Lido Key Beach. Well, according to the city of Sarasota, crews will continue to move in equipment and pipes today, and the actual sand dredging and pumping will likely begin tomorrow. The project should take about 3 months to complete. They'll pump sand from New Pass, which is adjacent to Longboat Key, and a much bigger project is starting next fall, taking sand from Big Pass, which is adjacent to Siesta Key. Red tide is still lingering around parts of the Suncoast. Next week, you can learn more about the science behind harmful algae blooms and the ongoing impacts across the state. Sarasota County's Extension Office plans to have a panel of experts discuss topics including stormwater management, climate change, blue-green algae, and discharges from Lake Okeechobee and more. It'll be at the auditorium on the Ringling College campus on Thursday night from 6 to 7:30 p.m.
Today you have a chance to enjoy a great bowl of soup and help families in need on the Suncoast at the same time. Restaurants from across the area are taking part in this year's Empty Bowls fundraiser. They are serving up all kinds of soup, and all of the money raised will go to the food bank of Manatee, which helps families in need. Yesterday, the fundraiser took place in Bradenton. Today it will be on Main Street in Lakewood Ranch. Admission is $30.
Nice event there, right there on Main Street outdoors. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, turkey trouble. More than 100 people now sickened because of salmonella. What the CDC has to say about this outbreak that's now affecting Florida.
Plus construction just in time for the busy season. How long drivers can expect the Green Bridge in Manatee County to be more congested than usual.
It is 6:41 on this Friday morning, 9th day of November. As far as the day planner, here's John Scalzi.
So we look at temperature coming in at 84 degrees with not much in the way of any kind of issues for us this afternoon in terms of rainfall, except perhaps in inland areas. There'll be about a 10% chance of a shower. None of the inclement weather boxes checked on the drive time forecast. Mid-70s for our temperatures leaving to work. On the way home, we'll be looking at upper 70s, maybe some low 80s around, depending on if you have an early drive time or not. And none of the airport hubs serving Sarasota, Bradenton are, well, that's not true. Atlanta Airport now seeing a 30-minute delay, and that due to a little bit of rain shower activity there. We'll talk about the forecast in a second.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
I witnessed him have 2 heart attacks in ICU. He went through seizures.
We'd much rather have Aaron like this than dead. A lot of parents don't have that luxury.
He can't talk. He can't walk. This is a condition Aaron will live with for the rest of his life because he abused prescription pills.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
As smart as our pets might be, they can't advocate for themselves. That's why it's important you make your pet part of your family's disaster preparedness plan. Talk to your veterinarian and visit banfieldfoundation.org/disaster. Don't save it for a rainy day.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we look at an air temperature of 73 degrees, 73 degrees with a dew point value of 72 and an east wind blowing at about 5. That east wind will turn a little more westerly as we head into the afternoon, and that will bring us perhaps a little bit more of an issue with red tide near the coastline during today. But over the course of the weekend, those winds will shift. Get up to about 85, 86, 87 degrees for a daytime high, which will be well above the average again for this time of year. Nothing in our radar scopes this morning. Everything is very quiet weather-wise for us. We do have some airport delays, as I mentioned, at the Atlanta airport, that due to rain showers associated with a cold front, which wraps up around an area of low pressure, producing some snow showers now in parts of the country. Yeah, there's some cold air across parts of the country, no doubt about it. We have some snowfall accumulations that could become kind of impressive as we head into the second half of the day today. We could get perhaps up to a couple of inches of snow developing in parts of Pennsylvania, upstate New York, maybe back toward the west in the UP of Michigan. Some of that colder air will arrive on the Suncoast in the form of a cold front moving through, but we have some drier air also moving in, indicated here by these tan colorizations. That dry air aloft will limit the amount of shower and thunderstorm activity that we might get associated with the cold front that's approaching. Got to watch these cold fronts this winter. The Prediction Center has declared that there could be a El Nino forming that could last through the winter, and that tends to increase our risk of severe weather with frontal passages during the winter time. This one does not seem to be the case. As the front sinks southward, these two fronts kind of team up together and eventually drag some cooler air our way by probably midday tomorrow. It's going to be not really a blast of cool air, but it'll lower our temperature maybe 5 degrees. There's colder air, though, back over my shoulder in another front that'll be arriving probably on Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. That one will significantly lower our temperatures. Still warm today, cooler on Saturday with some drier air moving in. Possibility of some thunderstorms throughout the day today, but non-severe in nature. Tomorrow, I doubt we'll see much in the way of any thunderstorms, and on Sunday, back to the west toward Texas, there may be a few developing. The satellite view shows fairly quiet conditions across the Suncoast, so that's good news in terms of sunshine today. Should be plenty of it to go around. Southeast wind switching to the west, staying to the west through the evening at about 5 to 10. It's a light wind, and then as we head into the evening, a light chop with 2-foot seas is what we'll see. High tide 225, low tide 655 in the forecast for the 7 days ahead. Well, today, warm, as I mentioned. Tomorrow, the front moves through. The winds kind of pick up a little bit. We lower the temperature a tad, but we also lower the humidity. So it'll feel more comfortable both Saturday and most of Sunday as well. Cloud up a bit on Monday and Tuesday with a great chance of rainfall on Tuesday as that front moves through. It clears out and turns cooler for Wednesday and Thursday with highs only in the low 70s at times. Back to you.
Thank you, John. Checking the first alert traffic now in Manatee County. We have nothing major to report so far, just some spotty delays on 64 and 70 and 301. Earlier issue has since resolved itself on 75 near Ellington. Checking farther south, here's the scene in the northern half of Sarasota County. As we scroll farther south in those maps, there we go. Some issues there on University Parkway as you go from 301 toward the airport. Congestion there, and farther south, Just one little nagging issue there in Charlotte County. Nothing major to report besides that one, which is at El Jobin near 776. Meantime, this is bad timing for some commuters from Palmetto to Bradenton. Traffic on the Green Bridge, the western bridge of the two, will be congested for a while. The two southbound lanes on the Green Bridge will be reduced to one lane, and the project could take until about Christmas time. And there will be some streets temporarily closed to traffic in downtown Sarasota on Sunday. The city's annual Veterans Day Parade will take place Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Starts at Osprey Avenue and rolls west toward Gulfstream Avenue, and then afterwards a ceremony will take place at J.D. Hamill Park.
In Health Smart, you may want to be extra careful when cooking for Thanksgiving. Dozens of new cases of salmonella linked to raw turkey products have sprung up around the country, including here in Florida, and one person has died. According to the CDC, since July, 164 people have gotten sick in 35 different states. Many of the people who got sick reported eating or preparing different types of turkey products purchased from multiple locations. The FDA plans to crack down even more on e-cigarettes. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration is expected to announce several changes as early as next week. Most flavored e-cigarettes in convenience stores and gas stations could be banned, but the products would be available in vape and tobacco shops. The agency also plans to add an age verification requirement for online sales.
We'll have our top 7 headlines next. First, a live shot of the Siesta Key Crystal Classic. Some amazing sand sculptures on display. Should be a big weekend out there for the annual event. Details of that and more news coming up on Good Morning Suncoast.
You like to pay less. That's why you made Honda Accord the best-selling mid-size car in America. Get the redesigned Accord, the North American Car of the Year, or Civic, a KBB.com Best Buy for less than the competition. Like SUVs and trucks? Get Motor Trend's SUV of the Year, CRV, the 8-passenger Pilot, or Ridgeline truck for up to $4,240 less. Today at your local Honda dealer.
Since 1847, the Grand Hotel has earned a worldwide reputation for elegance and hospitality. Now the Grand has been transformed with reimagined rooms and suites and exceptional fine dining and meeting spaces. The spa is more luxurious, and championship golf will test your game, all overlooking beautiful Mobile Bay. The Grand Hotel Golf Resort and Spa. Timeless elegance transformed. For reservations, visit grand1847.com.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts. Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
My name's Luke Perry, and I am 1 million strong. I'm in the fight against colorectal cancer because I believe we can win it. Colon and rectal cancers are the second leading cause of cancer deaths among men and women in the U.S. Colon cancer is preventable. Know the risk factors and make sure to get screened. There are simple, take-home options available. Take control of your health. Screening for colon cancer isn't embarrassing. It can be life-saving. To find out more about your options, visit fightcrc.org.
We answered the call of duty and left our homes to serve in far-off lands. Now, we answer another call, this time at home, in our own communities, to respond in times of chaos, to use our strength, our skills, and our experiences to bring hope amid devastation and destruction. Together, as a team of brothers and sisters, we're continuing our mission to make this country a little stronger and a little better each day. We are Team Rubicon.
This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Remember that to love America is to love all Americans, because love has no labels.
Welcome back. Here are the top 7 things you need to know before you head out the door at 7 o'clock.
Number 1 is John Scalzi's first alert weather forecast.
Yeah, so we're looking at a warmer day again today than average. That'll continue as it has all week long. Isolated late day shower in inland areas east of the interstate mostly, but significantly cooler as we head into tomorrow and particularly next week. Back to you.
All right, number 2, let's check the first alert traffic right now. So far, no problems on Suncoast roads, looking all clear. Just move slowly as you head out the door on this Friday morning.
Number 3, wildfires are raging parts of California. A massive blaze has forced tens of thousands of mandatory evacuation. Crews are trying to contain one fire dubbed the Camp Fire, which was growing at a rate of about 80 football fields per minute.
Wow. Number 4, Governor Scott calling for law enforcement now to investigate voter fraud in his race for Senate. Scott has filed a lawsuit against Broward and Palm Beach counties for allegedly not meeting the state deadline of 7:30 p.m. on election night to report early and mail ballot totals.
Number 5, an escaped inmate from the Cincinnati area has been rearrested in Venice. Police in Venice were investigating a car theft yesterday when they took Christopher Toll into custody. Police say he has a history of burglary and theft.
Number 6, sand sculptors from around the world will be on Siesta Key today and this weekend. They're taking part in the 9th annual Siesta Key Crystal Classic. 8 teams and 8 solo artists will start putting their masterpieces together at 10 o'clock this morning and check them out all weekend long.
Finally, number 7, what's trending? A big day for Beatles fans and an album that changed the face of pop culture. A remixed and remastered version of the classic, the Beatles' White Album, is out today. The re-release is in honor of the 50th anniversary. The box set includes 7 discs. I know I'm not going to be running to the store to get this. Will one of you guys? Either of you?
No, I'm not going to go get it, but certainly feel old. It's been 50 years now, John.
50 years, yeah.
Yes.
It's a remix, and they've probably digitally remastered it and made it sound, really good, I bet. Put it into
you'll have to
HD, probably.
listen. Yeah.
Double album, their 9th studio. Back in the USSR was the big song off that.
Yeah.
The first one, yeah.
Good stuff.
Let's take one more shot of the Siesta Key Crystal Classic out there. Beautiful shot as the sun has risen there, and there's a nice little sculpture already put together out there.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Good Morning America is coming up next. We hope you have a great day and enjoy the Siesta Key Crystal Classic.